bullies. This is what I can't stand in the world.
This is so bad,
we're
guys.
The country
so bad.
that stands up to bullies.
Yeah.
And I hope, and I know that you will, but I hope we continue to be the good guys.
What does Canada mean to you? Like, how does it?
Canada means everything. I wouldn't be anything without Canada. The Canadian taxpayers subsidized our housing, gave me a fantastic high school. They had a television studio.
You get that education.
Yeah.
You get that perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talented, but you get the opportunity to express that talent. I mean, you are talented.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's very kind. No, I got to.
I mean,
work
I
at
think
this.
I think you're gonna do big things.
I hope so. Thank you. That's very nice. No, but I worked at the CBC. In fact, I
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Do you think we should get rid of the CBC? Because
No,
there's a guy
we
who
should
says
keep
we
the
should just get rid of the
CBC.
CBC. Okay,
That
let's
guy's
see.
wrong.
He's wrong.
No.
But this thing about still being Canadian and
Yeah.
always being Canadian, and it's about values. It's about an attitude.
How
The
insecure
attachment
is
to this
this
country
clown?
that gave you these opportunities, gave me tremendous opportunities, obviously.
Going anywhere in the world and people find out you're Canadian, you're the good guy.
Yeah. And sometimes you got to get those elbows up.
Yeah.
But only for as
Elbows
long
up.
as
They
it is
jump
necessary,
slogan.
and then you go back.
I've always said that nobody should confuse Canadians' kindness with weakness.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's why I want to endorse you, by the way, because I think you're fantastic, and I think you're going to do great
Wayne's
things.
World.
And you're going to protect Canada, and I think you're. Well, it sounds like damning with faint praise, but I think you're reasonable, and I think the world needs more.
You know what?
Grown-ups. We need more adults, dude.
I don't know. So yeah, gang, that's a bit of a letdown there with Mike Myers earlier. Like, I'm still a fan of this guy, but I do not listen to his politics. I think he's probably out of touch. That could happen if you're, as rich as he is. He's been a very successful comic, comedian, film star. Mike Myers is talented, but misguided here. Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics.
Complying with the rules in advance.
In your assets. It's very difficult to believe.
Look inside yourself, Rosemary. I mean, you start from a prior of conflict and ill will.
Hey gang, what's up? Aaron right here, Canadian Looney. So you've heard about Mark Carney, our new fake phony prime minister? Mark Carney, right?
Who the f*** is that guy?
Well, anyhow, we've got Cpac here releasing this video introducing Mark Carnage Carney to Canadians. There's no video for any of the other leaders. Why is Cpac pushing Mark Carney? I don't know, but let's take a look at their video. It does introduce some of the history, but it's very, very skewed. So I'm not promoting this video, I'm just showing it. Like, this is what the bought and paid for media does for these liberals. Anyhow, let's take a look at Mark Carney, who, yeah, let's take a look at this goof.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
Mark Carney has been Liberal leader since March 9th and Prime Minister since March 14th. Born in Fort Smith, Northwest Territories, Carney spent most of his childhood in Edmonton. Harvard was the next stop, with a bachelor's degree in economics. After that, a master's degree and a PhD from Oxford. Carney worked for Goldman Sachs in London, Tokyo, New York, and Toronto. Then came a move to the public sector. Carney became Deputy Bank of Canada Governor in 2003. Carney took over as Bank of Canada Governor in 2008 and started with a big interest rate cut, 50 basis points. Later that year came a financial crisis. Canada was spared a bank collapse, but there was a recession. Carney's central bank cut rates even more, and pledged to keep the overnight rate low for 1 year. Meanwhile, Carney's impression continued to build outside Canada. Time magazine named him one of the world's most influential people. He chaired the International Financial Stability Board. And before long, Carney was governor of the Bank of England, leading that institution as Britons voted to leave the European Union. Carney later became the UN's special envoy for climate action and chaired Brookfield Asset Management and Bloomberg LP. He also wrote a book arguing for an economy built on human values instead of market values. But the question of Carney's political ambition lingered.
I have been talking with Mark Carney for years now about getting him to join federal politics. I think he would be an outstanding addition.
And last year, he was named special advisor to the Liberal leader on economic issues.
And if Prime Minister of Canada asks me to do something, I will do it. I will serve.
When Chrystia Freeland resigned as finance minister, there were reports Carney had been offered the job. And when Justin Trudeau announced plans to step down, Mark Carney stepped into the race to succeed him.
I know I'm not the usual suspect when it comes to politics. But this is no time for politics as usual.
7 weeks later, it became official, and there was no doubt.
131,674 votes, resulting in 29,457 allocated points, representing 85.9% of the votes.
Mark Carney was now Liberal leader, followed a few days later by his swearing in as Canada's 24th Prime Minister.
Anyway, we're going to take a peek at another comedian from a different time, John Cleese. He has this to say about extremism. The message is still pertinent. He dropped this like long before the internet was even a concept to, people that are just walking around. Who knew? The more things change, the more they stay the same. Anyways, John Cleese, big fan. Let's take a peek.
Seriously, though, we've heard a lot about extremism recently. A nastier, harsher atmosphere everywhere, more abuse and bother boy behavior, less friendliness and tolerance and respect for opponents. All right, but what we never hear about extremism is its advantages. Well, the biggest advantage of extremism is that it makes you feel good because it provides you with enemies. Let me explain. The great thing about having enemies is that you can pretend that all the badness in the whole world is in your enemies and all the goodness in the whole world is in you. Attractive, isn't it? So, if you have a lot of anger and resentment in you anyway, and you therefore enjoy abusing people, then you can pretend that you're only doing it because these enemies of yours are such very bad persons. And that if it wasn't for them, you'd actually be good-natured and courteous and rational all the time. So, if you want to feel good, become an extremist. Okay, now you have a choice. If you join the hard left, they'll give you their list of authorized enemies. Almost all kinds of authority, especially the police, the city, Americans, judges, multinational corporations, public schools, furriers, newspaper owners, fox hunters, generals, class traitors, and, of course, moderates. Or, if you'd rather be an extremist on the hard right, no problem, fine, you still get a lovely list of enemies, only they're different ones. Noisy minority groups, unions, Russia, weirdos, demonstrators, welfare sponges, meddlesome clergy, peaceniks, the BBC, strikers, social workers, communists, and, of course, moderates. And upstart actors. Now, once you're armed with one of these super lists of enemies, you can be as nasty as you like and yet feel your behaviors morally justified. So you can strut around abusing people and telling them you could eat them for breakfast and still think of yourself as a champion of the truth, a fighter for the greater good, and not the rather sad paranoid schizoid that you really are.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
We're going to wrap it up right there, guys. John Cleese made some great points. Mike Myers sold out. Mark Carney, trash toilet. What do you think? Fake prime minister. What the hell? We got the election that we wanted, though, so it should be a pretty wild month. We've got about a month until the election. I believe it's April 28th. See you in the polls. That's it. Aaron, Canadian Looney, thank you very much for watching. Come and check out one of the live shows. That's it, gang. Lots of Canadian federal politics coming your way. Remember to smash the like. Catch you next time. Subscribe too. Come check out one of the live shows. See you there.
Sorry. Thank you. That's all the time we had for this morning. Merci, c'est tout le temps que nous avions pour la conférence de presse ce matin.
All of us go to Florida. We don't.
Let's go to Florida, baby!
In Canadian federal politics, the Canucks are represented by two separate yet unequal groups: the globalists who sold out and the opposition trying to salvage a country. These are their stories.